Barron Trump. This is the first time he's ever been. Barron. Stand up. Look at him.
Being a teenager is never easy, but for Barron Trump, the challenges are far from ordinary. While most teens struggle quietly with exams, friendships, and identity, Barron has had to navigate all of that under the unrelenting glare of the public eye. As the most private child of Donald Trump, he spent much of his life away from the spotlight, almost like a shadow moving silently in the grand halls of Trump Tower in the White House. But lately, things have changed. Since turning 18, Barron has stepped, willingly or not, into the public arena, drawing more attention than ever before. People speculate about which university he'll choose, analyze every inch of his appearance, and debate endlessly about whether he's more like his father or his mother when he stands before the cameras. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. And hey, leave us a comment below to let us know what you think about the Trump family's future. Your voice matters. According to renowned body language expert Judy James, one recent moment, a subtle but telling Easter weekend interaction, may have revealed more about Barron's relationships with Donald and Melania Trump than any public speech or interview ever could. For years, Barron has been the quiet one, often described as reserved compared to his outspoken and media-savvy siblings. But this time, Judy James noticed something different, a shift in posture, presence, and confidence. Her analysis takes us right inside the invisible walls of family dynamics at the very heart of the Trump empire. And you may be surprised by what she uncovered. He's growing into his height and into his confidence, James told the Mirror. But what fascinated her most was how dramatically Barron's body language shifted depending on whether he was with his mother or his father. In one Easter stroll captured on video, Barron is seen quickly matching his mother's pace, catching up to her with long strides that seemed almost eager, as if he wanted to share the moment and stand alongside her in equal light. Melania walked ahead, graceful and composed, but Barron closed the distance, walking shoulder to shoulder, sending a quiet message of presence and perhaps even leadership. James interprets this moment as a defining milestone in Barron's personal evolution, a clear shift from the reserved, somewhat introverted boy the public once glimpsed into a confident young man who can navigate and command social situations with ease. She noted that such changes are not merely about appearance or age, but about the subtle confidence that comes from maturity, self-awareness, and life experience. To illustrate her point, James referenced a lighthearted TikTok clip that recently circulated online, capturing Barron offering a quick, almost instinctive thumbs up to the camera, a small but telling gesture instantly recognizable as one of Donald Trump's trademark moves. For observers, it was more than a casual moment. It was a symbolic nod to his father's influence, blended seamlessly with his own emerging personality. It's a small move, but a telling one, she explained. It suggests that Barron feels a deep connection with his father, instinctively mirroring one of Donald's signature signals, a silent way of saying everything's fine, even as his father faces mounting legal troubles. Yet, James noted, the father-son dynamic isn't without its complexities. When Barron is with Donald, his demeanor changes. He seems just a little more hesitant, a little more guarded, as if aware of, and perhaps weighed down by, the larger-than-life presence of the man beside him. When Barron is with Melania, he strides forward, catching up to her, as if eager to stand in her light and be seen. It's a quiet but unmistakable assertion of presence, a young man stepping into the frame, shoulder to shoulder with his mother. Yet with Donald, the dynamic shifts. Barron tends to hold back, keeping a few paces distance. And then came a moment that could have been lifted straight out of any teenager's secret nightmare. Your dad doing something in public that makes you want to disappear. During their Easter outing, Donald started dancing. It wasn't a full routine, just a few signature moves, but it was enough to make Barron's body language tighten. Folding his arms and clenching his fists ever so slightly, he betrayed a flicker of shyness, as if caught between amusement and the universal teenage instinct to cringe. It all happened on Sunday, March 31st, when members of the Trump family gathered at Mar-a-Lago for an elegant Easter brunch. The moment was captured for the world to see. On April 1st, Ron Filipkowski, editor-in-chief of Midas Touch, posted a clip of the event on his former Twitter account, captioning, "Trump arrives at the Easter party with Barron and shows off his signature dance moves." In the footage, Donald Trump can be seen walking toward a group of friends, his tall, teenage son trailing behind. At first, Barron appears distracted, perhaps scanning the room or lost in thought. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he notices his father start to dance. A slight lift of the arm, a familiar movement that Donald often uses to charm a crowd. Barron glances over, an awkward half-smile forming, but his posture says it all. Folded arms, shoulders slightly hunched, the look of a young man momentarily feeling like an outsider in his own family scene. It was the kind of moment every teenager, no matter their background, knows all too well. Parents, for all their love, pride, and good intentions, possess an uncanny ability to trigger those cringeworthy seconds that make their children want to disappear into thin air. And as it turns out, even the son of a billionaire and former president is not exempt from this universal teenage rite of passage. In that instant, Barron wasn't Barron Trump, the public figure. He was simply a young man caught in the awkward push and pull between admiration for his parent and the desperate wish for the spotlight to shift elsewhere. Flashback to Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago, a night that blended politics, power, and a dash of awkward humor. It was an evening thick with holiday warmth, yet also charged with the subtle theater that seems to follow the Trump family everywhere. This time, a familiar guest had joined the celebration, none other than Elon Musk, the tech billionaire who had, by now, become a regular face at Donald Trump's Palm Beach resort. On that Thursday night, the ballroom glowed with gold light, the air humming with conversation as the president-elect sat surrounded by family, friends, and his new political ally, a man soon to be announced as head of the Department of Government Efficiency. In a clip that quickly made its way online, the moment unfolded with almost cinematic timing. Trump was seated between his towering 18-year-old son and Elon Musk, while Melania sat just beside Barron. Suddenly, the unmistakable anthem of Trump's rallies, YMCA, blasted through the speakers. Musk began to nod subtly to the beat, tapping the table in rhythm, the soft bam, bam, bam of his fingers matching the bass. Trump, noticing the understated groove, leaned over, gave Musk a few friendly pats on the shoulder, and urged him to raise his hands in the air, a silent dare to join the fun. And then there was Barron. He glanced over at his father, a half-smile forming as if to acknowledge the moment, but his eyes told another story. Shyness, hesitation, the faint blush of a young man trying to process his father dancing alongside one of the richest men in the world. For all his poise, Barron looked like any teenager caught in that familiar bind. Proud of his dad, yet privately wishing the spotlight would shift somewhere else. Online, viewers wasted no time dissecting the scene. One former Twitter user wrote, "Oh my God, Elon Musk couldn't get anyone to join him for Thanksgiving except his mom, who lives off him, and Trump had to pay for his third wife to show up. Even Barron looked embarrassed for them. What a bunch of losers." Another chimed in, "Barron looks so uncomfortable. The body language around that table is just weird." And as the video circulated, a third comment summed up the general feeling, that no amount of power or money can shield you from the universal truth. Sometimes parents dancing is just awkward. A third onlooker couldn't resist cracking a joke. Barron is probably sitting there thinking, "All right, Dad, can we please skip this song and just move on?" The room laughed, and another guest playfully chimed in, "At this point, Elon might as well be an honorary member of the Trump family." The teasing remarks blended seamlessly into the evening's lighthearted atmosphere, giving even the most formal gathering a touch of relatable family humor. Also present at that memorable Thanksgiving celebration were Trump's daughter Tiffany, his son Eric, Eric's wife Laura, and Elon Musk's mother May. The guest list, already impressive, became even more striking when Hollywood legend Sylvester Stallone made his entrance. Recently, Stallone had publicly praised Trump as the second founding father of America, even likening him to George Washington. At the dinner, he was spotted in animated conversation with both Trump and Musk, their shared laughter and easy rapport suggesting old friendships rather than formal introductions. Musk has become such a fixture at Mar-a-Lago since the election that Trump jokes he just can't leave Florida anymore. The tech billionaire hasn't just joined Trump on calls with foreign leaders. Trump himself even traveled to Texas to witness the launch of Musk's SpaceX Starship firsthand. It's hardly surprising that Barron feels closer to his mother. An insider revealed to The Blast that Melania has been spending most of her time with her son and her own father, Victor Cavs, since her mother's passing earlier this year. Melania has devoted both her time and her heart to caring for Barron, and the source suggested she would likely follow him wherever he chooses to attend college. Barron has always been a quiet, reserved teenager, and Melania has remained a devoted, protective mother over the years. Yet despite his low profile, Barron's towering height makes him stand out effortlessly in any crowd. It's this striking presence that earned him the affectionate nickname Mini Donald from his mother. But the name speaks more to his personality than his looks, something that at times makes Barron feel a little self-conscious. Though he's more often seen than heard, the similarities between Barron and his father go far beyond appearances. From his mannerisms to the way he studies the world around him, and even in those unconscious moments where he mimics his father's signature gestures, Barron seems to carry a spark of the Trump spirit, even as he shapes it into something uniquely his own. Like his father Donald Trump, Barron has a taste for tailored suits and an early spark for business and entrepreneurship. Even at the tender age of 5, he was already swinging a golf club and talking about business ideas. In a 2012 interview with Parenting magazine, Melania shared an intimate glimpse into her son's childhood tendencies. He loved building something, tearing it down, and then starting over to create something entirely new. Bilingual in English and Slovenian, Barron inherited his mother's cultural legacy. In a 2011 interview, Melania proudly noted that her son could switch effortlessly between the two languages. This skill allowed him to maintain a close connection with his maternal grandparents, who once lived just a short distance from Trump Tower. Barron also holds a special place in presidential history as the first son of a president to live in the White House since JFK Jr. However, it wasn't until 2017 that he moved into the iconic residence. Melania insisted on completing his school year in New York before making the transition. Even before the move to Washington, Barron enjoyed his own private floor in the Trump Tower penthouse, complete with a children's room, living room, kitchen, and a nanny's quarters. Favoring bespoke suits over casual wear, a style Melania highlighted in a 2013 ABC News interview, Barron exudes a quiet formality beyond his years. Perhaps that's why, at a recent dinner at Mar-a-Lago with A-list guests such as Patrick Bet-David, Adam Sosnick, Tom Ellsworth, Vincent Oshana, and Jesse Waters from Valuetainment, he playfully quipped, "Who eats with a silver spoon? Mine's gold." For those who may not know, Melania and Donald married in 2005. On March 20th, 2006, Melania gave birth to their son, Barron William Trump. In a rare interview, Donald spoke about Barron and the young man's future. Barron is very tall and about 6'7". He's a good kid, handsome, and doing well in school, Trump said, adding that there's a strong chance Barron might follow in his footsteps by attending the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Barron William Trump is the youngest child of Donald Trump and the only son he shares with Melania. In May 2006, he was baptized at Bethesda by the Sea Episcopal Church in Palm Beach, Florida. Barron attended the Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in Manhattan, and later Oxbridge Academy in West Palm Beach, Florida. Today, he is a student at New York University's Stern School of Business. In addition to English, Barron is fluent in Slovenian. Unlike his siblings and parents, Barron's early years were largely out of the spotlight. During Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, he caught the public's eye despite his young age. After his father's election victory and move to the White House, Barron remained in New York for several months to complete his school year, a deliberate effort to preserve a sense of normalcy despite his father's sudden rise to the highest office in the nation. Barron has attended several prestigious schools. In his early years in New York City, he was enrolled at the Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School on Manhattan's Upper West Side. In May 2017, it was announced that Barron would transfer to St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, Maryland. Breaking tradition, Barron became the first child of a president in 35 years not to attend Sidwell Friends School. Instead of following the well-trodden paths of his predecessors, Barron made history by becoming the first presidential child ever to enroll at St. Andrew's Episcopal School, a decision that immediately set him apart. In a public statement, Melania Trump praised the school for its inclusive and diverse community, as well as for its unwavering dedication to academic excellence. In 2024, Barron Trump stepped into what could be described as one of the most pivotal and exciting chapters of his life. Beginning his freshman year at the prestigious Stern School of Business at New York University. For the youngest son of a former U.S. president, this was more than just the start of college. It was the symbolic opening of a door into adulthood, independence, and self-discovery. Choosing Stern was not simply about prestige or academics. It was a deliberate choice that allowed him to remain in New York City, the place where he was born, raised, and still feels most at home. This decision set him apart from both his siblings and his father. Donald Trump and Barron's older brothers and sisters, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and Tiffany, all attended or graduated from elite, tradition-steeped universities, such as the University of Pennsylvania and Georgetown University. Barron, however, signaled that he was ready to carve his own path, free from the expectation of simply following in their footsteps. Friends and family insiders describe him as quietly determined, willing to make choices that align with his personal ambitions rather than public assumptions. It's a notable transformation for someone who, not too long ago, was viewed as the shy and reserved first son of the Trump White House. When Donald Trump first won the presidency in 2016, he shared publicly that his then 9-year-old son was deeply anxious about leaving behind the vibrant, bustling life he knew in Manhattan. Barron had to trade the skyscraper views of Trump Tower for the heavily guarded halls of the White House, an environment where every movement was watched and privacy was a rare luxury. Those close to the family recalled that the transition was challenging. Barron missed his friends, his school, and the rhythms of New York life. Yet over the years, he adapted, developing a quiet resilience, learning to handle the constant public attention, and finding ways to express himself within the constraints of his unusual upbringing. His choice of NYU's Stern School was, in many ways, the culmination of that growth, a decision made on his own terms, rooted in both ambition and a sense of belonging. Barron had been deeply attached to his friends, his school, and the bustling rhythm of New York life. The move to Washington, D.C. represented a dramatic shift. He loves New York and his school, not necessarily the White House life. He likes what he has. It's going to be a whole different life, Trump told People magazine. However, when Barron learned that his father's mission as president was to help people, the transition became less daunting. It gave him a sense of purpose and a way to understand the sacrifice behind the move. At age 11, Barron officially moved into the White House with his parents, where he would live until 2019. That same year, the family relocated permanently to Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's private estate and club in Palm Beach, Florida. Though he rarely appeared in the public eye, Barron's personal interests occasionally attracted media attention. In 2018, Melania revealed that her son had a deep passion for sports, particularly soccer, often spending hours training and following his favorite teams. However, Donald Trump expressed concerns about the risks associated with the sport. Barron also enjoys playing golf and basketball, showing a well-rounded interest in athletics. He is bilingual, speaking both English and Slovenian, his mother's native language. Melania told People magazine that as a child, Barron would often speak only Slovenian when talking to his grandmother. When it came to which language Barron should use in public, both Melania and Donald agreed that English should be his primary language. Barron's height is immediately noticeable. Standing at around 6'7", 2.9, he is the tallest member of the Trump family, towering over his father, who is 6'3", 1.9 meters. Compared to his half-siblings, Barron truly stands out. Donald Jr. is 6'3", and Eric is 6'5". While Google lists Barron at 6'9", Donald Trump joked in a January 2024 speech that Barron was 6'4", 1.93. Still an impressive figure. Donald playfully credited Barron's height to meals cooked by Melania's late mother, Amalija Knopfs. Barron's stature often draws attention, especially during public appearances. On election night, November 5, 2024, just after midnight as results were still coming, in an ecstatic Republican crowd in Florida celebrated Donald Trump's much-anticipated return to the White House. His entire team was welcomed as heroes, including Melania and Barron, who had largely stayed out of the public eye during the campaign. Standing over 6'7", Barron cut an impressive figure as he smiled at the cheering supporters. Unlike his 4 older half-siblings, Donald Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and Tiffany, who have taken on prominent roles as political advisors and business leaders, Barron has largely remained behind the scenes. He is said to have helped his father connect with Gen Z voters, an increasingly important demographic in today's political landscape. The president-elect credited Barron for encouraging him to appear on Joe Rogan's podcast, which was a huge success with nearly 50 million views. The election held special meaning for the 18-year-old, who also cast his first-ever vote this year. Photographed at polling stations, Barron proudly supported his father's presidential campaign. After Trump's victory, senior campaign advisor Jason Miller revealed that Barron had suggested several podcast appearances for his father before the November 5th vote. Hats off to the young man. Every recommendation he made blew up the internet, Miller told Politico's Playbook Deep Dive podcast. With Trump now appointing key cabinet positions ahead of his second-term inauguration on January 20th, many wonder whether Barron will take on a more active role in the coming years. According to People magazine, since starting at NYU's prestigious Stern School of Business last September, Barron is said to have made quite an impression on campus, especially among female students. Of course, he's studying business, one insider said, and he's definitely a player. He's very popular with the girls. Barron's striking height and good looks have inevitably turned heads, whether in political circles or on the bustling streets of New York. An insider close to the family revealed he's tall and handsome, the kind of presence you notice immediately. Many people, even liberals, admit he's quite attractive. His arrival at NYU has certainly not gone unnoticed. On his very first day as a college freshman, security staff reported seeing Barron outside the library, flanked by a team of Secret Service agents. A reminder that despite being just another student on paper, his life is far from ordinary. Barron enrolled at New York University shortly after graduating from Oxbridge Academy in Florida in May, stepping from the comfort of private school life into the bustling and highly publicized world of NYU. In a candid interview on Fox and Friends, Melania Trump reflected on her son's college life. "I don't think Barron can be just a regular student. His college experience is very different from other kids." She praised his resilience, adding, "He's very strong and understands that he's in a special position compared to others his age." Melania also highlighted Barron's surprising influence on the 2024 presidential campaign, particularly his ability to connect with younger voters, a demographic crucial for her husband's success. She explained how Barron leveraged modern platforms like podcasts to reach out to this audience, blending humor, knowledge, and an approachable presence. "Barron is a mature young man. I'm so proud of him, of his knowledge, even in politics, and the advice he gives to his father," Melania shared, her voice carrying both maternal pride and admiration. To her, Barron is not just a student navigating college life, but a trusted confidant playing a quiet yet meaningful role in shaping a presidential bid. Melania highlighted her son's deep understanding of his own generation and what they care about. "He has attracted a lot of young people. He truly understands his generation." She explained that Barron's ability to connect with young voters was key to bridging the gap between traditional campaigning and today's digital platforms. Young people are not watching TV. They're on their phones, listening to podcasts. "It's amazing," she said, reflecting on the evolution of political outreach. She also praised Barron's maturity and political awareness, calling him a grown young man, and credited him with playing a key role in Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, especially in winning over younger voters. Melania proudly shared that her son knows exactly the right people his father needs to connect with. As the youngest of Donald Trump's 5 children, Barron faces the rare challenge of balancing a life under constant public attention with the demanding academic schedule of a New York University student. In her interview, Melania emphasized that Barron is not just a quiet observer. He actively speaks up behind the scenes of the campaign, offering thoughtful insights and pointing his father toward the right people and opportunities that could shape the outcome of the political events. She described him as a young man with remarkable maturity for his age, someone who not only understands the political arena, but also possesses an intuitive grasp of how to connect with younger generations. He knows his generation better than anyone, Melania said. He understands what they care about, how they think, and how they want to be reached. In her view, Barron's ability to bridge the gap between traditional campaigning and the fast-paced digital world of podcasts and social media has been invaluable. So what do you think of the youngest figure in the Trump family? A young man who has chosen to stay largely out of the spotlight, yet still manages to leave a mark through quiet influence and modern insight. If this story intrigued you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating glimpses into the personal side of public figures. Until